What?
I am sorry, y'all. This Nunu, I'm blocked off my page. So I had to go out live on Monster Phone. I ain't had no intention to going live like that. I apologize to everybody. Yes.
Bitch, go.
Stop jumping! Stop jumping!
Now, bitch, game over.
This is 27-year-old Renita Williams, a mother of 3, going live on Facebook to say sorry. The man behind her, pointing a gun at her back, is the boyfriend she already left. In a few minutes, this becomes the last video she ever makes. And this is her own mother, Anita, already shot and bleeding, who somehow made it to a neighbor's house and got on the phone with the police while her daughter's last moments were still streaming live.
Jonathan Robinson.
Okay. Okay, is he now?
Yeah, he's now, ma'am.
Okay.
All
Can you
right.
tell me what he's wearing? Hold on. Can you tell me what he's wearing? Hello?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what
Ma'am, I can't tell what he got on.
Okay, yeah. Can you see him right now? Officers need to know when they pull up who he is.
He's in a car.
Okay, what kind of
He's in a little brown car. The car's still in the driveway.
Okay, who is he at?
He's my daughter.
Okay. Okay, is everybody safe inside of the residence?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
My daughter in there.
where's your daughter at?
She in there now.
Okay, and what's your name, ma'am?
Anita Williams.
Okay, I'm going to keep you on the phone if you can so officers get there so you can make sure you guys are okay.
So how does a young mother who loved her kids and moved like a boss end up saying sorry at gunpoint inside her own family home while the people closest to her watch it happen? To really understand it, we have to go back to the start because the warning signs were there the whole time and nobody could move fast enough to stop what was coming. This is the story of Renita Williams. Renita, the one her people lovingly called Nunu, came up in Shreveport, Louisiana, a place where a lot of folks grow up struggling with very little room to slip. She was raising 3 kids on her own after a relationship that didn't work out, and even though that is a heavy load, she carried it like it was light. Her children always came first, and the people who knew her respected the way she held everything down without ever waiting on somebody to come and save her. When her brother sat down to talk about her later, the first thing he wanted you to understand was that those kids were never something she played about.
With them kids, that's one thing she never played about. Nobody ever knew in the world, no matter what, them kids, like no matter if she was jugging or what, I call her and say, somebody out of line with who she hitting her with the quickness and getting on. I'm talking about I ain't playing no game. More said, go back there and give me 3 of them granny switches. Y'all know what them granny switches is. Go back. She don't want no belt. She want them granny switches. I ain't playing no game with her.
She was making a name for herself as an interior designer, turning regular houses into beautiful homes, and posting her work on Facebook, where she was building up a real following. More than that, the people around her saw a woman who bet on herself and kept on winning, somebody who moved like she didn't need help from anybody to make it.
Everything with that when she had really want the boss there, like, you know what, I don't really, you know what I'm saying, I don't really need nobody to go do this. Like, if we go do that together.
And that is exactly what makes the rest of this so hard to sit with, because a woman who didn't need nobody ended up tangled up with a man she should have left in the rear view. That man was Jonathan Robinson, a 37-year-old from the same city. When he first came around, he looked like a blessing. He came off as protective, caring, and present. The kind of man a single mother might thank God for.
Women are the winners.
I ain't gonna say all men and women. I'm gonna say men, my niggas winning though. The
Okay.
niggas,
Okay, well 10 dudes winning. Okay.
like a motherfucker.
Let them tell it.
Yeah, we winning.
Yeah, let y'all
We
tell it.
don't know how to lose. We don't even take losses good. At nothing. I mean at nothing.
But anyway, y'all know what him for, women. We already know what him for.
What?
Okay. Nothing.
Exactly.
To
Nothing.
be said.
Nothing.
To be on top.
Exactly. Nothing.
To be on top.
What a nigga got to tend to.
He got close with her kids and stepped in like the father figure they never really had, showing up to school meetings and making himself a regular part of the home. So for a little while, it all felt like the real thing. But behind that easy smile, Jonathan was carrying a whole lot of darkness that Renita couldn't fully see yet, and we will get into just how dangerous he really was a little later on. There was also something else he was hiding, and this part had nothing to do with his temper. Renita believed she had a man who was hers and hers alone, but the truth is, she had walked straight into a love triangle that was already years deep. There was another woman in the picture, somebody named Sharika Taylor, out of Houston, Texas, and by the time Renita came along, Jonathan and Sharika already had a long history together. It isn't fully clear whether Renita knew about her from the jump, but at some point, both women figured out the other one existed, and for a while, they put up with the whole twisted setup. In the messed up math of that situation, Renita got treated like the side chick, while Sharika held the main spot, and as long as everybody stayed in their lane, things stayed quiet. The problem is, situations like that never stay quiet for long, and once this one finally broke open, it set off a chain of events that none of them would walk away from. The piece started cracking, and like a lot of things these days, it all spilled out onto social media for everybody to watch. Sharika got on Facebook and started calling Renita out, throwing accusations that only made a shaky situation worse. By the end of 2017, Renita had taken all she was willing to take, and she decided she deserved a man who would put her first and nobody else. So she went on Facebook and told the world she was done with Jonathan for good. In her mind, walking away was the end of the headache. But in reality, it was the start of something far worse. The trouble was that Jonathan wasn't the type to take the loss and keep it moving. He kept reaching out, begging, and asking for one more chance. And because of the kind of heart she had, Renita gave him that chance one more time. It didn't last. They broke things off again, and this time the split lit a fuse. Heading into early 2018, the back and forth between Sharika and Renita boiled all the way over. From where Renita was standing, Jonathan was the one still chasing her, still trying to pull her back even though she wanted out, while from where Sharika was standing, it looked like Renita was the one trying to take her man. That misunderstanding is really what set everything off. Feeling played, Sharika posted a warning and told Renita to stop trying to mess up somebody else's happiness by dealing with a taken man, or she might end up miserable herself. Renita wasn't about to let that ride, so she fired right back and posted that people shouldn't play with her because they wouldn't like the way she played back. Then came April of 2018, and the moment that pushed everything past the point of no return. Renita went live on Facebook to set the record straight, telling her side and making it plain that she was not the one chasing anybody. Somewhere in that live stream, she said the thing that would get all the way under Jonathan's skin, that maybe Sharika just couldn't handle the truth that her man still wanted Renita. To everybody else it was just talk, but to Jonathan, it felt like the final disrespect, and all that anger he had been holding finally had somewhere to land. On the morning of April 12, 2018, Jonathan got in his car and drove all the way from Houston, Texas to Shreveport, where Renita was staying with family. He pulled up with a gun and a plan already set in his head. When he reached the home of Anita Williams, Renita's mother, the whole feeling of the day flipped dark in a second. He forced his way inside and demanded that Renita say sorry, an apology for the posts and the live streams that had bruised his ego and embarrassed him and Sharika both. When she told him no, he stepped back outside, and a few moments later, he came back through that door with the gun in his hand. Just like that, a family home turned into a hostage situation, with Renita, her mother, and her brother all held at gunpoint. From there, things moved fast, and they moved ugly. At some point, Anita spotted a small opening and tried to make a run for it, but before she could get clear, Jonathan opened fire and hit her. Renita's brother managed to break loose and get out of the house, barely escaping the same fate. With her mother down and bleeding, Renita had no moves left, so she did the only thing she thought might keep her alive. Her own Facebook account had been blocked at the time, so she pulled up her brother's account instead and went live to give the apology Jonathan was demanding, while he stood right behind her with the gun still up. He wasn't satisfied with just making her say sorry though. He wanted to put on a show for the whole world to see. With the camera rolling, he taunted her and let out everything he was feeling, knowing full well that he held all the power in that room. Renita was terrified, and she tried to do exactly what he asked, hoping that going along might somehow save her.
Hey y'all, this Nunu. I apologize for going live on Rika. I ain't had no business doing all that. My page been blocked, so that's why I'm going live. Yes, I know I was wrong. I ain't have no business going off like that, but...
See right there. See right there. Everybody want to be famous. I'm going to make you famous.
Yes.
What?
I am sorry, y'all. This Nunu, I'm blocked off my page, so I had to go out live on Morsephone. I ain't had no intentions of going live like that. I apologize to everybody. Yes.
Bitch, go.
Stop, Jonathan! Stop, Jonathan!
Now, it's game over.
Right there in front of a live audience, he pulled the trigger, and Renita Williams lost her life at that moment. But the nightmare didn't stop when she fell, and what the police were about to walk into, plus what Jonathan would later confess in that interrogation room, somehow made an already horrible day even darker. When the police rolled up to that house on Natalie Street, Jonathan didn't even think about giving himself up. Instead, he turned his gun on the officers, because by then, he had decided he wanted to go out too. What came next was a tense standoff that dragged on for around 80 minutes, with SWAT teams and negotiators surrounding the home and bracing for the worst. He kept firing, completely swallowed up by his own rage, until the police finally tried a different approach. They brought Sharika Taylor in to talk him down, and only then did the storm inside him start to calm. Whether it was love, fear, or just being worn all the way out, she got him to put the weapon down, and Jonathan Robinson gave himself up and was taken into custody. Once they had him in that interrogation room, the picture only got darker. Jonathan admitted he had planned the whole thing, laying it all out in a cold, almost casual way. He said he made up his mind to end Renita's life the second he woke up that morning, and even admitted that he wanted a shootout with the police because he was ready to die that same day. With all of that already set in his mind, he drove to his aunt's house to grab the gun and bought 40 bullets earlier that day. What made it even eerier was the way his emotions kept flipping, because one minute he was breaking down crying, and the next he was insisting he knew exactly what he was doing. The more investigators dug into him, the clearer it became that this wasn't some one-time slip from a regular guy who lost his temper. Jonathan came up in one of the roughest parts of Shreveport, and where Renita fought to rise above her surroundings, he ended up becoming a product of his. From a young age, he was already running into trouble with the law, and over close to 2 decades, his record filled up with serious charges, things like domestic violence, aggravated assault, and even attempted murder. He spent years going in and out of prison, and every single time the system let him back out, he went right back to the same patterns. The warning signs around this man had been flashing for a long time, and Renita, giving him a second chance, as big-hearted as that was, turned out to be the one decision that ended up costing her everything. With his own confession on the record, and the whole thing streamed live for the world to see, the evidence against Jonathan was overwhelming. He was charged with first-degree murder, and in Louisiana, a crime that heavy can carry the death penalty, which is exactly what he was staring down. The case took a turn before it ever reached a jury, though. On January 24, 2019, Jonathan pleaded guilty to first-degree murder, along with several counts of attempted first-degree murder, which spared him from execution in exchange for life in prison with no chance of parole. During the court proceedings, he showed flashes of something that looked like regret, at one point turning toward Anita Williams to say he was sorry, but none of it could undo a single thing. His fate was sealed, and he would spend the rest of his days locked up. For the people who loved Renita, the grief had no bottom to it. Anita, already wounded in her body, was left carrying the much deeper wound of burying her own daughter, and she has spoken about her anger and her disbelief that somebody she once trusted could do something this evil.
I didn't believe in nobody. I never believed in nobody. Not just him, nobody. Not even an enemy. So why? No, I'm glad justice has been served. Everything is gone. Everything is okay. So I feel a lot better now. Now I can rest. Now me and my family can go on with our life, you know. It's over with. It's no more. So it's nothing else to talk. The decision has been made between us and everybody else. So we feel a lot better. It hurts me. It hurts me so bad. My Jonathan, it's not going to bring Renita back. None whatsoever. So decision has been made, and that's what it is.
The whole community of Shreveport wrapped around the family with vigils and memorials, and on April 21, 2018, Renita was laid to rest in Princeton, in Bossier Parish, Louisiana. The small, everyday details are the ones that hit the hardest, and when her brother sat down to talk about that last morning, he remembered sending her son out to the car with a few dollars for gas.
So when he came back to the car, the last time King seen his mama, she was giving him $8 or $9 to give to me to put in the gas tank. That was the last time King seen his mom. That last month was the last time that Maya seen her, because she fixed her hair in the front. Like, I had the school clothes ready and got them up or whatever, but that was the last time. Jada, I ended up waking Jada up at 5:40 because she got to be to school early. So I ended up waking Jada up. She ain't really just even go to sleep. I think she wanted to put the sweater on and left.
Never once imagining what that ordinary little moment really was. As heavy as Renita's story is, the hardest part to accept is that it is far from the only one. Years later, And far up north in Minneapolis, Minnesota, a 34-year-old mother of 2 boys named Mariah Samuels lived through something painfully similar. By every account, she was the kind of woman everybody loved, a dog groomer with a soft spot for animals. She was sweet, outgoing, and full of life, and who, much like Renita, kept her children at the center of her whole world. For a few months, she dated a man named David Wright, but once she saw who he really was, she made the same brave choice Renita made and walked away. The problem was that Wright simply could not accept being left, and the moment she tried to close that door, his behavior turned dangerous. According to court records, he attacked her and even held a gun to her head, and around that same time he started sending her threatening messages, including one chilling warning that somebody was going to die that night. Here is the part that makes Mariah's story sting even more, because unlike a lot of victims, she did everything she was supposed to do. She didn't stay quiet, and she didn't just sit there hoping it would pass. Mariah took out an order of protection against him a few weeks before her death and called the police more than once to report that he was breaking it by calling, texting, and following her around. She reached out for help over and over again, but that piece of paper and all those phone calls did very little to actually keep her safe, and the people who were supposed to protect her fell short at the moment it mattered the most. Then came the morning of September 14th, 2025. Just like Renita years before her, Mariah turned to Facebook to speak her truth, posting that Wright had been stalking her and that she was tired of being afraid in her own life. What she did not know was that the man she was running from was already right outside, watching and waiting. Only about 8 minutes after that post went up, Wright opened fire on her as she climbed into her car, taking her life just a few feet from her own front door. When investigators worked the scene, they counted around 15 shell casings near where she fell and her vehicle, and witnesses described watching him try to drag her out of the car before he hopped on a bicycle and rode off like it was nothing. He didn't get far, and once they had him, the coldness in him matched everything Jonathan Robinson had shown years earlier. When detectives sat him down, he calmly told them he wasn't going to fight the case, almost like he had already made peace with exactly what he had done. In the end, a jury found David Wright guilty of first-degree murder, and he was handed life in prison with no chance of parole, the very same ending that Jonathan got.
Tonight, victim advocates are calling for big changes in how police handle domestic violence cases after a North Minneapolis mom was allegedly killed by her ex-boyfriend, despite filing a court order and asking police for help.
Caring about victims requires action. It demands that we are honest and transparent about our failures, and that we are committed to coming to the table with advocates and survivors to develop actionable plans for change.
Tonight, Raya Katene talked with the police chief about changes coming to the department.
She took every step to make sure that she did things right.
Mariah Samuels' family says the 34-year-old Minneapolis mother did everything a domestic violence victim is told to do. She called the police, sought help, and filed a court-mandated order for protection from her alleged abuser turned killer.
Today we are going to speak her name loudly.
But despite her efforts for protection, Samuels was shot and killed on the morning of September 14th. Her ex-boyfriend is now charged with second-degree murder and illegal possession of a firearm.
Everybody should be protected when they are asking for help.
As her loved ones demand answers from city leaders and police.
This is not an excuse, but it is the reality. We simply do not have the staffing levels we once did.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says Samuels was failed by the system. His department, he says, has half the number of investigators it did roughly 6 years ago, with only 5 assigned to the domestic violence unit as their caseloads continue to grow.
We've had more than 900 cases of domestic violence, aggravated assault so far year to date. That's more than 3 a day.
He says his department is now reviewing its response to Samuels' case, including the actions of officers who responded to a 911 call Samuels made just hours before she was killed. A gap in protocols, including when officers are required to verbally ask if a victim feels safe and when the case may be escalated to a higher priority, O'Hara says will be addressed.
My friend was more than just a victim.
As Samuel's loved ones grieve their friend, sister, daughter, and companion,
Mariah's life matters! Mariah's life matters!
They say she should still be here, but will continue pushing for change long after she's gone.
The system failed to protect her.
The chief also says he's ordered all officers to receive retraining on their response to domestic violence cases by the end of this year. Julie.
Thank you, Raya.
The thing that should stay with all of us is what Mariah's own family and the people handling her case said afterward, that she did every single thing we tell women in danger to do, and the system still failed her.
Selena Owens says her sister was killed just 3 weeks after she filed a protective order against her ex-boyfriend David Wright, but the system failed to protect her.
When she picked up on the signs, she did try to escape and she did cry out for help and she did go through the process of getting the restraining orders and things like that.
2 different women, 2 different states, years apart, and yet almost the exact same story, because both of them tried to leave. Both of them spoke up on Facebook, and both of them lost their lives to a man who simply could not handle being told no. Renita Williams should still be here right now, raising her 3 kids and building those beautiful homes she loved so much. Her story, with Mariah sitting right alongside it, is a painful reminder of how quickly a toxic relationship can turn deadly, and of why those warning signs can never be brushed off, no matter how hard somebody swears they have changed. If you, or somebody you love, is stuck in a situation like this one, please don't wait, and please don't try to ride it out alone. Let us know what you think about this story down in the comments, and may Renita's soul finally rest easy. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.